How do you start a pig farm as a beginner? And here's what I always say. You don't have to start big. You don't just have to start small. Just consider what you can do, your capabilities. So the first thing is you should learn about pigs. Know why you want to go into pig farming and learn everything about it, because most of the work on the farm, about 70%, can be done by yourself. You don't have to spend money for people to do it for you. So learn about it and know the right thing to do. That is the first thing you're supposed to do. Know why you want to start the pig farming and then start learning about it, because it's your new business and you'll be doing it for a long time. Because remember, pig farming takes time for you to see any significant profit from what you're doing. You can't start today and the next day you are making sales. No, you have to wait for at least 7 months to get your money back. And one thing we have not been talking about is the need for business plan in pig farming. I didn't also start this thing, but it got to a time I decided to draft one for myself. And anytime I take a look at the plan, I see that yes, it's actually helpful, because it will guide you in what you're doing. You know where you're following. You know that you have to adjust your production at this stage, or adjust it this way, so that you know this is your direction. Your marketing, you will do it through this channel, and this is how you deliver to your customers. This is how you go about your business. So you plan everything ahead of it, and then you will be able to know how to calculate your cost and make some analysis. If at the end of the production year it is helpful for you, then you go into it. So business plan, you have not even talking about it, but it also helps pig farmers a lot, because you can't just be doing it all like that. You need a plan. At the end of this quarter, I want to have this number of pigs. At the end of this quarter, I want to have this, and I want my pigs to weigh this, so I'll need to buy this, feed them this. So your plan should also flow with your activities on the farm. And the next one is also to look for those who will actually buy from you, and your business plan will help you to know this very easily. Know your market. Are you targeting those who sell pork or roast pork, grilled pork by the roadside, or you're targeting the established restaurants, or is it the biggest pubs you have in your area? Or are you also targeting new farmers, such that you always produce, and then once you win, then you sell it to another farms, and they also go and continue with the production? So you need to know people who will buy from you right from the beginning, before you even start it. You don't create a product and start looking for customers. You get the customers, and then you go in to create your product. Remember, if your product is created already, you can't force people to buy it if they don't need it. And people always come to you because they need it, not they want it. Okay? Because if it's only a want, they can go to any shop and then they get meat, take it to wherever they want, but they will need it. Maybe there's a unique thing you are doing that people really want to get it, no matter what the cost will be. So you need to know those people and produce to suit them accordingly. Don't rush. Get your market right from the beginning. And the next one is start small. Yes, just start small. My video, I always say I started with 3 pigs, and I expanded from there. Pigs eat a lot, and even with 1 pig, before you even be able to raise it from birth to market weight, which is somewhere 100 kilograms, they will have spent close to 1,600 cedis. Okay, so you need to prepare. If you don't know the cost that will go into producing just 1 pig, how will you know how much it will cost you to produce 50? And maybe you've not prepared for 50. Okay, so you have to start small, but think big. You start small, then the dream should be bigger. Then you'll be pushing it, start narrowing like this, and then you push through it. Okay, so before you realize, you have reached your goal in no time. And one thing about pig farming is you are learning. Once you just start, you are learning. You learn, you make mistake, you learn, you make mistake, you learn. So if you start small, the risk is very low compared to somebody who starts big and then the person will fail in the middle. Everything goes down at once. And such are the farms, people usually just collapse at once. So don't fall a victim, and also know that farming is something you have to be invested in it emotionally and psychologically. You'll be asleep, but your mind will always be on the farm. What is happening? For instance, there was one time I was sleeping, but something was happening to me that this soldier worms soldier ants. Something was happening to me that soldier ants are disturbing my pigs. Okay, because there was one time something happened like that. A brother went there to save my animals. Okay, so from there, when I'm there, sometimes I used to think about, can these animals go back to the pen? Okay, so there are all ways of investing in your farm, emotionally and then psychologically. There is no break for you in farming, especially pig farming. Whether there's a public holiday, your pigs will eat, and you have to go there and feed them. So you need to consider all this. And remember, the bigger the farm, the more the work you will do. That is a fact for you. So start small. And with the starting small, you have to look at your facility. If you are not prepared to house 20 pigs, don't be tempted to cross 2 of your sows together at the same time. Because if each of them should even give you 8, that is 16, plus the 2 sows, 18, you're almost there. So plan for all this. I know people who just start pig farm and then at once they cross 5 sows, put them on their farms. So look at them and say, Charlie, what you're doing, are you not sure you are going to lose your money within the next 3 months? Because imagine 5 pigs, you have crossed them, you take them there, they should even give you 10 each. That's 50 for you. Do you have that money to raise them? And remember, piglets are different from when they start growing. You need to invest more into feed. So think about it and start small, know your market, and then your reasons for why you want to go into pig farming, and then start learning about the activities involved in pig farming, what you need to do on a daily basis to keep the farm going. And having known this, you should select the breed carefully. Going into pig farm, you need to get the breeding right. Select the right breed. I have no experience with Duroc, but I only have experience with large white and then the Landways, and they are hybrid. Those are the pigs I have experience with, so I can't talk much about the Duroc, but I specifically chose the large white and Landways because they are good mothers for me. That's the right thing, the best thing for me. They are good mothers and they are always calm. They hardly harm their piglets. And if they should give you the piglets, the litter is usually between 10 and 12. They don't feel me. Okay, so that's one of the reasons. And the pigs also grow very long. Yes, they grow very long in no time if they are fed well. Those are my reasons for going into it, but you can also consider other factors. If there are certain traits in the pig you like and you want to go into that aspect, fine. But also remember that you are not going to consume the pig yourself. So if you like that breed and your customers don't like it, or your target market don't like it, you don't have to go there. Just produce what the people want and you'll be okay to do. And as a beginner, the next one is also to pay attention to disease management. And with disease management, that is the biosecurity. How are you going to deal with strangers on your farm? How are you going to deal with outbreaks? If there's an outbreak on your farm, maybe you are lucky enough to be able to spot the disease as it was just emerging and it was in one pig. Are you prepared to isolate the pig? Do you have the extra room to keep that particular sick pig and then render treatment to it until it comes back to its feet? If you don't prepare for these emergency issues also, it's going to affect you when all your pigs get affected at once when you are not expecting them at that point. Okay, so those are all part of the reasons why you need to go into pig farming, learn a lot about it before you invest your finances and effort into it. And having known this, feeding is the next one I would say think about. Feeding. Most farms get the feeding wrong. Most farms get it wrongly, the feeding. Because people say pigs eat anything, they just jump into it thinking that whatever they feed the pigs, they will eat. It might be true to some extent, but not always. Pigs require different feed ingredients at particular times, especially the ratio. If you are to balance maybe corn, the soybean, you should know how to balance them. So those are all things you have to learn before you go into it. You can buy them from the commercial shop, alright, feed shop. They'll supply you already mixed feed for you, alright. But they are also expensive. You can't always be buying them if you want to make more profit from your activities. You can't always be buying the feed from this shop because they're always expensive and the quantity is even less than if you should formulate it yourself. You can even get 3 times the quantity compared to what you buy from the shop. So learn how to formulate it at various stages. You know, you have the pre-starter, something I don't always consider. So I consider the starter, which is the winners, and then the growers, and then your finishers. And then you know how to deal with pregnant sows and then the lactating mothers. Just know how to formulate feed for them so that to help them grow and then meet their nutritional needs at various stages of their development. Those are things you need to consider as a beginner before you go into it. What I'm saying, like, you would think it's too much work. It's not really too much work. Before you even start, you see that you become used to it and it looks like you are automated. From here, you know how you're going. From here, you know the next step. From here, you know the next step. So you become like automated machine on the farm because you know it, you have been doing it consistently. It has become part of you. You don't even feel like it's a work for you if really you enjoy pig farming. Okay, and you should also decide on the marketing sales. How are you going to reach your people? If you are just starting, you can start by establishing your foot very well before going in. Like you can establish yourself on if social media is your target, you can establish yourself there, have your business out there. If you're not targeting anybody at all, you're just targeting some small people within your area who are not even in the network coverage place. Social media will not help you to serve those people. So with that, you also know the channel. Maybe you go to the information center, you get people who also like the gong beaters, they go around make announcements for you. Your pics, you will sell pics at this place, and it costs this if they want to get it. You need to also understand their languages, the people want to sell it to. Get to understand their languages and how to attract them. If they are people who love to see before they buy, you can offer to help them with this farm tour. They just come, they walk around, stand outside, and then view your farm, see the animals for themselves, and see that you are not lying about what you're doing. And if they like it, they'll feel connected, and then they'll be committed to your farm as well. So you know how you attract your potential buyers, either through social media, the information center, or even call. There are always you can reach people. So think about it after identifying your market. Now think about how you attract them or get them to buy from your farm. And then as a beginner, once you have started your farm, it has not ended. You need to also continuously learn from people. Okay, if there's somebody who is close to you and the person is really doing well in pig farming and you admire how the person is going about his farming practices, you can approach such a person, have a discussion with the person. They will take you through. And if there's a particular training going on somewhere about pig farm or your business, that is one thing you have not been doing in Ghana here, and I've observed it. People don't like to pay for services, especially trainings. People don't like to pay. They want everything for free. And free is not going to help you, because you are likely to get less the value of if you had paid. So if there's a training close to you, don't hesitate. Pay to attend. If you're not the one to even attend, and maybe your attendants, pay to let them go and join them. And even aside the payment for the training alone, remember you meet people who are also doing the same business you're doing, like pig farming. People are also doing the same pig farming. You get their contacts, you network with them, and then from that time to time you keep exchanging ideas. I saw this happening to my pig. Share your experience. How do I go about it? Is it something I should worry about? You get it. If you are starting pig farm and you feel, or you try to isolate yourself from other people in the business, you feel lonely in the process, and that is where your mental issues will also start to come up. Feel like you're not alone in the business. You have people you rely on anytime you want to do something on your farm and you're not sure about it. There are people to hold your hand, to walk you through what you have to do. So don't feel separated from the crowd. Always toe in line, but don't also copy blindly. If what the person is suggesting you think is not going to work for you or is going to affect you negatively, don't say because he's an experienced person, so you go by his advice. No, you have to also copy, but copy it the right way. Any information you get, try to sieve it yourself and then absorb what you need and then go to practice it. If it is working, fine. If it's not working, quickly discard it and then move on to another stage. And don't also forget to share your ideas. It could be that you just started, but you have just experienced something new that the old farmer has not yet experienced. Don't keep it to yourself. Share with them as well. Okay, it's all things you can do, and that is why I always say pig farming, you can't get all the knowledge right. If you want to start, you can't get all the knowledge right. You have to go and then you learn as they come. You learn it, and it's also one of the reasons to start small, in case they come and you are not able to control them and they lead to losses. You don't suffer too much and then run away from pig farming. So you start small, learn as you're growing, and then you keep expanding your farm. I hope this video helps you, and if you like it, let me know in the comments and then subscribe to it.